Erling Haaland. Haaland needs to maintain impossible standards. And it's his own fault. This season alone, he's been unstoppable. 21 goals in just 12 games for club and country by October. 12 consecutive matches with a goal, equaling Cristiano Ronaldo's career best scoring streak. He surpassed Alan Shearer to become the fastest player to 88 Premier League goals in 100 matches. 50 goals in the Champions League in only 49 games. The numbers are obscene, and that's the problem. He's set a standard so absurdly high that anything less looks like failure. 2 quiet games and it's a crisis. Is Haaland declining? Has he lost his edge? Against Liverpool, he scored with a towering header, his 99th Premier League goal, after missing an earlier penalty. City won 3-0, dominant performance. And yet the questions still came. Against Monaco in the Champions League, he scored twice from only 7 first-half touches. 7. The reporter asked him straight up, "You only had 7 touches in the first half. 2 of those were goals. Are we underestimating how difficult that is when you're not involved in the game?" His response was blunt. "I'm involved in the game by doing movements, giving space to others. It's not only about touching the ball." But that's what he's dealing with now. Score twice and get questioned about your involvement. Miss 1 chance and it's a meltdown on social media. City are second in the table, 4 points behind Arsenal. They're genuine title contenders. And yet Haaland's every move gets dissected. He's expected to score 30+ goals every season, never have an off game, dominate every match regardless of tactics or opponents parking the bus. The moment he drops below superhuman, the narrative shifts. He needs people to remember he's human. He needs City to keep winning so individual performances don't get picked apart. And he needs to accept that even when he scores twice, someone will look for something wrong. That's the price of being this good. Florian Wirtz. This player needs time. The most expensive player in British football history. £116 million from Bayer Leverkusen. The wonder kid everyone wanted. And after 11 Premier League games, Florian Wirtz has 0 goals and 0 assists. Not 1 goal contribution. That's the reality. He's been benched 3 times already by Arne Slot. Liverpool are 8th. Here's the thing. Wirtz is 22 years old, playing in a new league in a new country for a team that's completely rebuilt its attack. At Leverkusen, he had Xabi Alonso's system perfected. He had patterns drilled into muscle memory. Now, he's figuring it out on the fly in the most intense league in the world. His father came out last week defending him, saying Florian is perfectly happy and just needs time to adjust to the pace. But that's not how this works. Liverpool paid £116 million. They're not in the Champions League spots. Every week without a goal contribution adds to the narrative that maybe he's not ready for this level. The talent is obviously there. You don't dominate the Bundesliga and win titles by accident. But if Liverpool struggles continue and Wirtz doesn't start producing soon, the vultures will circle. Real Madrid are already being linked with a rescue move. He needs the noise to quiet down and the goals to start flowing.
Jack Grealish. This guy needs support that actually finishes chances. Jack Grealish, the £100 million man who won the treble with Manchester City, moved to Everton on loan. Pep Guardiola froze him out. 1 Premier League start all last season, left out of the England squad. So Grealish took the Everton loan with a £50 million option to buy, teamed up with David Moyes, and told everyone he was excited for regular football again. And you know what? He's been brilliant. 4 assists in his first few games. Named Premier League Player of the Month for August. Fans are singing his name. The problem? The players around him can't finish and lack quality. Everton aren't Man City. When Grealish threads a perfect ball through, there's no Erling Haaland on the end of it. He's producing at an elite level. But Everton are mid-table because the finishing just isn't there. And now the whispers are starting. Can Everton actually afford the £50 million to make this permanent? Or will Grealish have one great season, prove he's still got it, and then move somewhere that can actually use him properly? He deserves better than being brilliant in isolation. Mark Guehi. Mark Guehi needs the big move before his stock plateaus. September 1st, 2025, deadline day. Mark Guehi is in London having a medical with Liverpool. The clubs have agreed £35 million. He's captained Crystal Palace to a 3-0 win at Villa Park the night before, scored a screamer, and now he's about to join the Premier League champions. Except at the last minute, Palace pull the plug. They can't find a replacement. The deal dies. And Guehi goes back to Selhurst Park. Now here's the problem. He's in the final year of his contract. He's told Palace he won't sign an extension. Liverpool still want him, but so do Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City. In January, he can sign a pre-contract with any foreign club and leave for free next summer, which means Palace either sell him in January for a reduced fee or lose him for nothing in June. But the bigger issue for Guehi, every month he stays at Palace, playing in mid-table obscurity, is another month his England place gets questioned. He's 25. He should be playing Champions League football. He should be challenging for titles. Instead, he's stuck in limbo, waiting for Palace to find a replacement they'll never find. The top 6 move needs to happen now, while his stock is still high. Wait too long, and the narrative shifts from elite defender Palace can't keep to solid player who's been at Palace too long. That window is closing fast.
Benjamin Sesko. This guy needs distance from instant judgment. Manchester United paid £73.7 million for Benjamin Sesko in August. He's 22, he scored 21 goals for RB Leipzig last season, and within 3 games of arriving at Old Trafford, social media had already decided, overrated. That's where we are. One poor game and the takes came flying. Not Premier League quality. United got rinsed again. Just another overpriced striker. Never mind that he's barely had time to settle. Never mind that Ruben Amorim is still figuring out his best 11. Never mind that United are in 7th place after 11 games and the entire team is inconsistent. Sesko gets judged harsher than anyone else in his situation. When he scores, it's written off as just 1 goal. When he builds play well, it's ignored. And when he has a quiet half, it's a viral Twitter thread about how United wasted money. Compare that to Florian Wirtz at Liverpool, who's had 0 goal contributions, but still gets described as adapting and needing time. Sesko doesn't get that grace. Part of it is the United tax. Everything at that club gets magnified. Part of it is his profile. Big, physical strikers are always under more scrutiny. And part of it is bad luck with timing. He needs to log off social media. He needs consistent starts, not 1 week in the lineup and 1 week benched. And he needs people to remember he's 22 years old and adjusting to a new country. If he gets that space, he'll be fine. If he doesn't, the pressure will eat him alive. Virgil van Dijk. One final elite season to cement all-time status. That's what he needs. The question this season is simple. Is Virgil still Virgil? He signed a new 2-year deal alongside Mo Salah. He's still captain. He's still the first name on the team sheet. But Liverpool are 8th. They've conceded goals they wouldn't have last season. And Van Dijk is 34 years old. This is the season that determines his legacy. One more elite year, anchoring Liverpool back into the title race, keeping clean sheets, dominating like he did in 2019, and he locks in his place among the Premier League's top 3 or 4 centre-backs ever. But if the decline has started, if Liverpool finish outside the top 4, if Van Dijk starts getting targeted by faster forwards, then critics will say his peak was short. That's harsh, but that's how legacies work. He's got Ibrahima Konate next to him, who's solid but inconsistent. He's got an entirely new attack in front of him that's still figuring itself out. And he's got a manager in Arne Slot who's under massive pressure after a nightmare start to defending the title. Van Dijk doesn't have the luxury of a transition season. Liverpool need him to be elite right now. And if he can deliver, if he can drag this team back into contention, it'll be one of the great final chapters of a legendary career. But the margin for error is gone. Every mistake gets amplified. This is his last chance to add to the legend.
Mainoo. This player needs minutes, or a move. Manchester United are in the Europa League and the domestic cups. That's it. 2 competitions. Which means Mainoo, one of England's brightest young midfielders, is fighting for minutes in a squad that's stacked with senior players. And he's losing that fight. Ruben Amorim has Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Manuel Ugarte, and a tactical system that doesn't always accommodate Mainoo's profile. So the 20-year-old sits. He trains well, he waits for chances, and those chances aren't coming often enough. This is the critical development year. Mainoo broke through last season, got England call-ups, looked like the future. But if he's not playing consistently this year, that momentum dies. He's not a 6, he's not a 10, he's somewhere in between, and Amorim hasn't figured out where he fits. So what does Mainoo need? Either United commit to him, give him starts, build the midfield around him, trust him in big games. Or he needs to go on loan, maybe even push for a permanent move if a club offers guaranteed minutes. Because sitting on United's bench for a season without European matches or cups that demands rotation is how talented players stagnate. He's too good to waste, but there's no fixture congestion to create opportunities. And that's a disaster for a player who needs 30 to 40 games this season to keep developing. The clock is ticking. Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli needs goals. Full stop. Arsenal are top of the table after 11 games. 26 points, 8 wins. Still unbeaten at home. And yet, there's a problem on the left wing. Gabriel Martinelli has energy, he has pace, he works defensively. But the goals? They're not coming. 1 goal in 11 league games. Half of the matches as a substitute. But Martinelli's been wildly inconsistent. 1 week he's electric against Tottenham. The next week he's invisible against Aston Villa. The chances are there. Arsenal create plenty. But his finishing has been erratic. Big chances missed. Shots blazed over. And when Saka has an off day, Arsenal need Martinelli to step up. That's not happening often enough. Mikel Arteta is patient, but you can see the frustration. Martinelli gets rotated more than Saka does. He gets hooked at 60 minutes when things aren't clicking. And the whispers are starting. Is he good enough for a title-winning team? The talent is obvious. The work rate is there. But Arsenal don't need a workhorse on the left. They need someone who punishes defences. 20 goals and 10 assists. That's the standard for an Arsenal winger if they want to beat City. Martinelli's nowhere near that pace right now. And if he doesn't improve, Arsenal might look elsewhere next summer.
Mohamed Salah. Mo Salah needs time to build chemistry with a completely new attack. The numbers from last season were absurd. 34 goals, 23 assists. Another Premier League title. Then Salah signed a new 2-year deal that keeps him at Liverpool until 2027, and everyone assumed the Egyptian king would just keep rolling. Except now, 3 months into the new campaign, Liverpool are 8th. Defending champions, sitting in 8th. They've lost 3 of their last 4, including a brutal 3-0 hammering from City. And Salah? He's been part of the problem. Luis Diaz is gone to Bayern. Darwin Núñez packed off to Saudi Arabia. In their place, Liverpool spent nearly £500 million on Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, Jeremy Frimpong, and Milos Kerkez. That's a completely rebuilt front line. New patterns, new understanding, and at 33 years old, Salah's being asked to adapt all over again. The issue isn't just goals, it's the connection. Against Frankfurt in the Champions League, he had Wirtz wide open for a tap-in and shot from a tight angle instead. Against United and City, he forced shots when teammates were better positioned. His form's dropped. And now there are whispers, genuine whispers, that the club might cash in next summer rather than watch his contract run down. He signed that extension to win more trophies. Right now, Liverpool aren't even in the top 4. If he can't find rhythm with Isak and Wirtz soon, this whole season could spiral. And that would be a disaster for a legacy that deserves better. Bruno Fernandes. This guy needs his real position back. United's tactical instability is crushing him. That's the reality. Bruno Fernandes signed as a number 10. He thrived as a number 10. But between Erik ten Hag's experiments and now Ruben Amorim's system, he keeps getting dragged deeper. Some games he's playing as an 8, some games he's effectively a 6. And when that happens, everything falls apart. His passing numbers drop, his goal contributions dry up, and United lose control of matches. It's not that Bruno's declining. He's 31, not 35. It's that he's being asked to do a job that doesn't suit his skill set. When he plays deeper, he gets caught out defensively. When he's too far from goal, he can't influence the game. And when United struggle, Bruno gets the blame for being erratic or wasteful, even though he's being set up to fail. The 2025/26 season is make or break for his United career in a weird way. Amorim needs to pick a lane. Either play Bruno at 10 and build around him, or sell him. Because this halfway house, where he's sort of a 10, sort of an 8, sort of neither, benefits no one. Bruno's still got years of elite football left if he's used correctly. But if United keep forcing him into roles that don't fit, his decline will be inevitable, and fans will remember him as a player who couldn't adapt, when really, United just never gave him stability. Martin Ødegaard. Arsenal's captain needs injury luck more than anything. When Martin Ødegaard plays, Arsenal are a different team. He's the conductor, the captain, the player who makes everything flow. But here's the problem. He's had 3 separate injuries in the last 6 months. Nothing major, hamstring tweaks, ankle knocks, minor strains, but enough to disrupt his rhythm. He misses 2 games, comes back, plays 3, gets another niggle, misses 2 more, and Arsenal's entire identity shifts when he's out. Without Ødegaard, they lose creativity in the final third. They become predictable. They struggle to break down deep blocks, scoring most of their goals from set pieces. Those short but disruptive injuries are a nightmare for a team chasing a title. You can't build consistency when your best attacking player is in and out of the lineup. Arteta has to adjust tactics every other week. Teammates lose the patterns they've drilled, and Ødegaard himself never gets into peak form because he's always managing something. He needs a 3-month stretch of uninterrupted football. That's it. If he gets that, Arsenal win the league. If he doesn't, they'll fall short. Again. Moises Caicedo. Caicedo needs stability after last season's chaos. Chelsea paid Brighton £115 million for Moises Caicedo in 2023, British record fee at the time, and after a messy 2024/25 season, managerial uncertainty, tactical confusion, inconsistent performances, fans just want one thing: normality. Let Caicedo play in his natural position. Let him dictate tempo from deep midfield. Let him show why Chelsea broke the bank for him. Because when he's used correctly, he's elite. Ball winning, progressive passing, positional intelligence, everything you want from a modern 6. Last season, Caicedo was moved around constantly. Box to box one week, holding mid the next, and his form suffered. This season looks better. Chelsea are third after 11 games with 20 points. They're in the title conversation, somehow. And Caicedo's been a big part of that, shielding the defence, breaking up play. But the question remains, can Chelsea maintain this stability for 38 games, or will they implode like they always do? Caicedo doesn't need to improve, he just needs consistency. Same role, same system, same manager for a full season. Give him that, and he'll justify the fee. But if Chelsea descend into chaos again, Caicedo, because of his price tag, will be the one who suffers. Cole Palmer. This guy needs a supporting cast. He's carrying Chelsea's attack. Again. Cole Palmer has been brilliant since leaving Manchester City. Absolutely brilliant. Goals, assists, creativity, ice-cold penalties. He's everything Chelsea hoped he'd be when they signed him. But here's the issue. He's doing it alone. Chelsea are third in the table, which is great, but Palmer accounts for a ridiculous percentage of their goal contributions. When he's off, Chelsea don't score. When he's marked out of a game, they have no plan B, and that's not sustainable over 38 games. Enzo Maresca keeps saying they need other players to step up, and he's right. João Pedro has been inconsistent, Liam Delap has been injured, Raheem Sterling out in the cold, Mykhailo Mudryk is, well, let's not go there. So Palmer is asked to do everything: create chances, score goals, take set pieces, carry the attacking burden. And he's 23 years old. That workload catches up eventually. Opponents doubling up on him because they know Chelsea have no other weapons. Palmer needs help. A consistent striker who can finish the chances he creates. A winger who can threaten from the other side. Someone else who can unlock defences when Palmer's having an off day. Because if Chelsea want to stay in the top 4, let alone challenge for the title, they can't rely on one player to do everything.
That's how seasons fall apart. Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes needs Newcastle's ambition to match his. Newcastle are 14th. 14th! Just 2 points above the relegation zone after 11 games. And Bruno Guimaraes, one of the Premier League's best midfielders, is watching his career stall in real time. This is the same club that finished 4th in 2023. The same club that was supposed to be building something special with Saudi money and Champions League football. But they sold Alexander Isak to Liverpool for £125 million, and it looks like they're in freefall. Guimaraes has been linked with Arsenal, Real Madrid and Barcelona for several seasons. And you can understand why he's thinking about leaving. He's 27, he's entering his prime. He should be playing Champions League knockout games. If Newcastle's project continues to stall, if they finish mid-table or worse, he'll push for a move next summer, and Newcastle won't be able to stop him. The problem is, Newcastle's entire squad is underperforming. Eddie Howe looks out of ideas. The defence is leaky. The attack is adapting. And Guimaraes is trying to do everything himself. Win the ball, progress play, create chances. He can't do it alone. He needs Newcastle to show ambition, sign quality players in January, give Howe the tools to turn this around, or accept that their best players will leave. Because if Newcastle end this season in 12th place, Guimaraes will be gone, and they'll deserve to lose him. Adama Traoré. Yeah, you guessed it. New season, same story. Adama Traoré is 29 years old and we're still having the same conversation. He's physically unstoppable, fastest player in the league, impossible to dispossess, terrifies defenders, and then he gets to the final third and nothing. No goals, no assists, no end product. Traoré is a useful option when Fulham need to stretch opponents or hold the ball up in transitions, but useful option isn't good enough for someone with his physical gifts. He should be a game changer. Instead, he's a luxury player who looks incredible for 20 minutes and then disappears. The finishing is still awful. He gets into great positions, takes a shot and blazes it into row Z. The crossing is inconsistent and his decision-making in the box is painfully slow. Fulham fans are split. Half of them love him because he's entertaining. Half of them are frustrated because he should be so much more. And Traoré himself? He's probably made peace with what he is. He's earned good money, he's played for big clubs, but the what if will always hang over him. What if he'd developed his final ball? He'd be one of the best wingers in the world. Instead, he's just Adama Traoré. Raheem Sterling. Sterling needs to prove he's not finished. 18 months ago, Raheem Sterling was a key player at Chelsea. Then Enzo Maresca decided he wasn't part of the project. Frozen out completely, sent to train with the reserves. Arsenal took him on loan in January 2025 as injury cover, and Sterling was trying to prove he wasn't washed at 30. The problem? He barely played. Mikel Arteta used him in cup games and as a late sub. When he did play, he looked half a step slow. The burst that terrified defenders for a decade isn't there anymore. Back at Chelsea and frozen out again, Sterling needs consistent starts and consistent output to redeem himself. Because if this exile and training alone continues, no top club will touch him next. He'll end up in Saudi Arabia or MLS by summer 2026. His legacy is already to some extent secured. Premier League titles, 100+ goals. But the way this ends matters. Declan Rice. This guy needs trophies to justify the £105 million fee. Arsenal paid £105 million for Declan Rice in 2023. British record for a midfielder. 2 years later, he's played 70+ games for Arsenal, been excellent defensively, added goals to his game, and won nothing. Not the league, not the FA Cup, not even the League Cup. Arsenal are top of the table after 11 games, but they were top last November too, and the year before that. Rice needs silverware this season, not just for Arsenal's sake, for his own. Because right now, the narrative is, great player, massive fee, 0 trophies. If Arsenal fall short again, that becomes his story. And at 26, he's running out of time to build the trophy cabinet his talent deserves. The pressure's different this year. Ødegaard's injury problems mean Rice has to carry more creative burden. City are resurging, Liverpool might turn it around, and Rice can't hide behind "We're building something" anymore. Arsenal have built it. Now they have to win. If they don't, Rice will be remembered as the £105 million player who couldn't get Arsenal over the line. That's harsh, but that's how it works. He needs May 2026 to end with a trophy in his hands. Danny Welbeck. Welbeck needs the World Cup call-up before it's too late. He's 33 years old, playing for Brighton, scoring goals, and somehow, against all odds, he's back in the England conversation. This is the same Danny Welbeck who was written off years ago, the same player whose career seemed finished after endless injuries at Arsenal and Manchester United. Hamstrings, knees, ankles, one setback after another. By the time he left Arsenal in 2019, most people assumed he'd fade into obscurity, maybe a championship move, maybe retirement. Instead, he went to Brighton, stayed fit, reinvented himself, and now, 6 years later, he's having one of the best seasons of his career. 7 goals in 11 games, leading the line for a Brighton team pushing for Europe. And Thomas Tuchel is watching. The 2026 World Cup is 7 months away. Welbeck's doing everything he can to force his way into that squad. But here's the brutal truth. He's running out of time. There are younger strikers getting attention, and one injury, just one, could end this dream. He knows it. Everyone knows it. Welbeck's never had a proper World Cup moment. He was on the fringes in 2014 and 2018, never really getting the chance to shine on that stage. This is his last shot, his redemption arc, the fairy tale ending after years of injury hell. If he stays fit until May, if he keeps scoring, if Brighton finish strong, he's got a chance. But the margin for error is microscopic. One bad month and the narrative shifts to nice story, but too old. He needs to keep this form going. He needs Tuchel to look past the age and see the production. And he needs football to give him one final gift after taking so much away.